Welcome back. We're here with Joe from Extra Mile Moving. Joe, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Excited to explore your entrepreneur journey, especially with you being so young. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. What's good, y'all? Yeah, just here in the beautiful state of Michigan. It's a wonderful day out. Life is amazing. Not a Could be a better day to be alive. So,
Yes,
yeah,
yes. So you are currently 24,
I
and
am.
can you talk about what your journey was like getting into being a business owner and especially getting into the moving industry?
Whoa, that's a big one, man. There's a lot. I mean, first off, I guess we gotta start on the back when I started working for a moving company. It was honestly wonderful. I worked for a senior moving company, so we didn't move homes. We move homes now, but we didn't. We only moved seniors from like one senior residence to the next. And essentially, what happened was I worked for them for 2 years. My brother and I actually did. He worked for them, and I hated my job at the time. He's like, "Yo, I can get you on this job." I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So I did that. It was good pay for the time, and we loved it. But essentially, what happened is we went up to our boss, I remember, or my brother did, and he's like, yo, I would love to like, help grow this thing. And the opportunity just wasn't there. So what ended up happening is just me and Steven were like, you know what, let's just do it ourselves. And so you know what, we quit. We went out to the good old Ann Arbor. We got a house. We were ready to go. And then COVID happened. And so there was literally no business. We were practically broke. And we had to find some sort of way to get leads, some sort of way to get jobs. And so what we did is we went to all the senior homes, and no one wanted us because it's COVID. They just said, "Go away." You had to have like special contracts to get in there. So then we dropped Extra Mile Senior Moving, which is what we originally started as, and then we became Extra Mile Moving, and that's the birth of Extra Mile Moving. And since then, we've been doing everything moving practically. So that's pretty much how we started, and that officially started in June of 2020. So yeah.
And with you transitioning from working for a moving company then starting your own company, what do you think the moving company industry is lacking, and what problem do you guys aim to solve with your business?
I think a lot of honestly, like maybe like a lot of the old school mentality, a lot of like moving companies don't really care about their clients. They just kind of they're so big, at a point they've just been around for so long that they just push crews. If problems happen, they're not really focusing on resolution. Overall I would say just the whole client experience from beginning to end. Other moving companies, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great moving companies out there. But what we try to focus on is that everything that we do is an actual service. So when the first phone call that they call us, that's all a part of the service. Even till after the move, when we do our follow-up calls, say, hey, how are you doing? You've been in there a few days, checking on the clients. All that whole part from beginning to end is all a part of the service. And what we really try to do is walk clients through. And the reason why is because I think everyone knows this, but moving is like one of the most is like one of the like top like five stressful events in people's lives. So like the less we can have people like essentially rely on them, they can just allow us to walk them through their situation, then that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to walk people through the situation. We're trying to go at a good pace, do a great job, but also make sure that, expectations are managed, everything's communicated very clearly, and it just goes a nice smooth process to where they can be, as the term is, stress free. And
Yeah.
so that's, I would say, like a lot of the other moving industries are so big, you know, uh, obviously moving it just in general has super high turnover, but I think that they also just have a lack of really caring about their employees as well. So I would say overall just like client resolution and just like actual investing in their employees, which is the two main things that we focus on. So yeah.
You also mentioned that you and your brother run the company. What has been the most difficult thing running a business with your brother?
You know what? My brother and I were like, when we first started, man, like what we said is like, this is marriage. Like I'm like not in like a weird way, but this is like where we literally when we started the business, we were broke. We pooled all of our resources together. We conjoined everything. And we literally looked at it as like, this is a literal like marriage in a sense. We're partners. And one of the biggest things that we brought up is expectation. So when you're with a partner, the biggest thing and reasons why partnerships fail all the time is because they don't incorporate what I call is the 70-30 rule, which essentially is that some days, my brother might not like he'll have an off day, right? He'll have a day where he's not feeling well. He'll have a day where he's just like, I just don't want to do this today. And he's like, I can I just take an earlier day? Can you just pick up the slack? Absolutely, man. Totally. You just go home. Like we care more about each other than ourselves. Like that's the biggest thing about partnership. If you care about each other and you're focused on making the other person's life better, then your partnership will flourish because then you're focusing on making sure that, and obviously business first, but you're always focusing on that everyone is doing well and that first is people's health, people's happiness comes first. And if you focus on that in a partnership, that's great. I think where a lot of business partnerships fails, and let's say one guy sleeps in late one day, right? And he kind of like slacks off a little bit on sales, which I think like every partner does. But if you start building up like that resentment, things start to fall apart, and that's why partnerships like never work out. In reality, I think people need to like look at it as like, we're partners in this. We literally are sharing this business bank account, that goes into our personal accounts, but everything flows through and every decision has to be made together, especially financial decisions. And that's pretty much like I would say the biggest thing when it comes to partnerships is like what we focus on. And it's really huge. So
I think you mentioned something very important, which is not letting resentment build up. I feel
absolutely,
like a lot of
yeah.
just humans in general struggle with that. So, do you guys have a structure or a process of having those difficult conversations to make sure that resentment doesn't build up between you two?
Um, well, first off, we're just super blunt to the point, and we don't like hold grudges because like at the end of the day, there's so much stuff that goes on in business every day. Like there's just no time to like give a crap about little things. Like who cares? Like, oh, this one little thing happened, whatever. Quick conversation about it. Me and my brother, we're best friends. We talk every single day, 5 times a day about multiple different things. And yeah, we've had our pitter patters, we've had our arguments, we've had our, our fights, but like we get past them, man. And that's just the biggest thing. You just gotta like really just like talk about it and be like, let's just get past this. Let's focus on the business because at the end of the day, we're both focusing on one goal, and that's what really builds a relationship. I think any relationship in general, if it's just you two, like I'm married, it's like every week like we try to focus on doing things together. It's the same thing. It's like if you're just focusing on each other and that's it, then your relationship's going to go to hell because all you're focused on is each other when in reality uh, relationships are always best built on two people, trying to achieve a certain objective or a certain point. And so that's what we talk about. We always, whenever things get like, we get an argument or whatever, we put the business first. We focus on the business. We both just, we're blunt. We're to the point. We're like, we're open book. We say, all right, whatever, whatever the situation is, we talk about it and we get past it. And that's really it. And we just really, we look at everything overall is not a big deal. And that's what really has been a game changer for us, at least. So,
I think definitely in the grand scheme of things, all the stuff that we think matters really doesn't. It's all very
no,
minute, small things.
hell no.
And I think also not being able or having someone that doesn't hold those grudges is also very important because if you have one person that blows up all these small things, that's obviously going to create resentment, problems, and just kind of ruin the structure of the relationship.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in business in general, there's a lot of uncertainty that can come up. How do
Oh,
you guys go about dealing with uncertainty when it comes to business or just life in general?
oh, bro, I mean, business is like every other day is uncertainty. It's all uncertainty. I mean, the amount of times where it's like we've had months of like just terrible margins and we're just like, holy crap, like this sucks. And then there's weeks there, like there'll be a day that sucks and the next day's amazing, right? And it's just like everything, the whole future outlook of my life looks amazing, the company looks amazing, the next day it feels like everything's falling apart. Uncertainty is a part of business, and you have to expect it, and you have to understand the number one thing is that you might be going through a bad month, or it's wintertime and it sucks because it's slow and everyone feels like they're broke and no one wants to give you money, and it's like you have to take every opportunity, and you have to kind of like you kind of have to look at the positives of everything, and you have to keep moving forward. Don't give up, keep moving forward. What we always talk about is that there are solutions to every single problem. There's solutions to every single problem. You just got to keep trying, and you'll find it. And we found solutions to every single problem. And believe me, if we didn't do that, we would have been out of business a very, very long time ago. There were multiple times where we were running out of money, multiple times. There were so many times where the processes weren't worked. There were times where like our employees just like they just sucked, and we had to just turn things around, dude. Like that's just a part of business, man. And you just got to keep moving forward. And like one of the things is like I feel like in America in 2025 or in the 2020s, it's not easy to start a business, man. Like there's a lot to do. You got to get, insurances. You got to make sure you're legally compliant, and then there's leads, and then it's not, you're always going up and down with like this super like changing scene with advertising, and trying to get leads, and it's tough, and it's taxes are like there's so much you have to understand, and just a few little things, you know how it is, man.
Yeah.
Few little things can just like put you over the water, and you got to be really attentive. So like I said, it's when it comes to uncertainty and all that, it's just keep moving forward. There are solutions, and you will find that solution. You could literally have a terrible month. You could be literally have $100 in your bank account. I fully believe that you could turn things around, and you can figure it out. And we have figured out situations very close to that before, and we've gotten to the point to where we're flourishing as it feels. And I'd say the last point I want to make to this question that's really important is you have to learn from your lessons, because if you don't take those old lessons and apply them, and and go through every single mistake and challenge and try to learn from it and don't repeat it again, then you're also never going to grow. If you keep repeating the same bad things, same bad employment practices, same bad financial practices, same bad advertising, you'll never grow. So you always have to be changing as well. And that's what we're focused on. And that's what I think every successful person, every successful entrepreneur, that the reason why they're successful is because they're always adapting, changing,
Yeah.
etc., I guess.
I do think that is being able to pivot as a entrepreneur is probably the most important skill. And I think we see a lot of entrepreneurs struggling, especially in the tech space. Like the older generation doesn't want to pivot to tech, so they stay in kind of the Stone Age when it comes to business and things like that. So I think that's a huge aspect. And kind of on that point, when you're running a business and you're dealing with all of those stuff that you did mention, do you think there's room for work-life balance?
Absolutely. In fact, I think it's necessary. And so when we first started the business, I think everyone who starts your own business in the beginning, I fully believe you kind of have to just go all in, and you got to put in as many hours as possible. That first initial like 3 years, 5 years is going to be the most difficult part of your business, because you're going to be on the ground, and especially if you're trying to grow, you're going to have to put in a lot of those hours, and you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of things when it comes to your life. You're just going to, and I fully believe that. Um, but there is a point that you get to where your work-life balance, you start to get in the flow of things. You've made a lot of mistakes. You've learned a lot. You got a good business structure. And I'd say the biggest thing to that is managers. I think you got to get to a point where you got to hire managers that do the work for you, and you got to be focusing on, because in the beginning you're doing everything. You don't have a work-life balance. You are the business. You have to get to a point to where you have to look at your life, and you got to look at all the things that are important, and you'll be like, okay, these are all the things important in the business. What are the things I want to do, and what are the things I don't want to do? Take all the things you don't want to do, and you delegate them all out. And that's what I've done. And that's what you got to always continue to do, because as you grow, more responsibilities come in, and you got to dish off more. You got to hire more managers. You got to promote your managers. You got to train your managers, and you got to have an amazing team. That is what creates a work-life balance. But even when you have an amazing work-life balance, you still have to make sacrifices for your business. There are trips my friends are going on. I'm not going on. I can't. I have too much to do here, and I'm happy about that. I'm married. Obviously, spending time with your wife's important, but I 1000% believe you will get to a certain point to where I actually believe that you should only work a certain amount of hours every day. See, I used to work literally every waking moment I could, and what I realized is that when I started working less hours and focused more on, doing the things I would like to do, for one, I don't even feel like I'm working, but for two, it allows you to have more positive and creative thoughts, and you can look at your business in a different way that allows you to grow it. And that might be hard for some people to understand, because maybe they're beginning the business, they're in the trenches, they're digging the hole, and they're like, what are you even talking about, man? I'm not even off the job site yet. But I would just say, you just need to get managers. You got to delegate, and then I promise you, it will get to a point to where you will have an amazing work-life balance, and then you just do the things that you love to do. And I would definitely say work-life balance is essential, because if you don't, then you'll burn out. And I fully believe that burnout is completely something that's totally, if you have good work-life balances, it's totally preventable. And I think burnout is something that it can destroy momentum in your business. And burnout is something that can only be prevented with a good work-life balance.
I agree. That was beautifully
Absolutely.
said. I love the
Absolutely.
explanation. I think delegating is important, especially delegating the things that you're not good at, so you can
Mhm.
actually hire someone to do things that they're better than you at. And I think having not having the ego to say I want to do everything, because as you know, a lot of business owners struggle with that of like, I don't want to give up control. I want to do everything. I want to be able, I want to run the social media. I want to do the marketing. I want to do all this, versus giving it to someone else that might even do it better than you, and being okay of saying, hey, I'm not that good at this, but let's do this because you are better than me at this, at this task.
Right.
Um, and you guys are also Christian.
Yes.
What positive Christian values influence the way that you run your business?
Well, I think first off, it's going back to partnership. It's putting others before you. That's I mean, when it comes to you think about Jesus and you think about the way that he lived, and you think about how you're supposed to live. That's all that really it's about. It's about living the way he did, which is he put everyone else before himself, and he cared about everyone else. So going with that, having a partnership, caring about the other person, you know, more than you care about yourself, that's going to benefit yourself. Every client you genuinely care for. I genuinely care for my clients. I want to give them a good service. Obviously, there's a line of giving them good service and caring about them and also getting screwed. And you also have to watch out for that, because there are clients out there who want to destroy your company. Believe me, there are. And I don't care who will say that, but there are. People are out there to destroy you. But you care about your clients. You're actually there doing a good service first off. You're not trying to scam them. You're giving them a good service. And when they actually have genuine concerns, and when they're actually pissed off because they felt like there was something that wasn't included or something like that, you resolve those issues because you care about them. And because, especially in our industry, we're moving people all the time who are, we'll move people who have really sensitive situations. We'll walk into a home, and there'll be that new couple that got their dream home, and they're super stoked. They got the one kid, they're happy, it's a great day. They tip the guys a ton of money. They don't even care. They just want to get out of there. And then the next day you go in, and it's that divorced couple. They're screaming at each other, and every time you're like, so this item over, and then you gotta witness a 5 minute yelling fest in order to get that item out of there.
Yeah.
Like, you have to put other people before you, and you got to be patient. And at the end of the day, it's like being patient, putting other people before you, and understanding that a lot of these people are going through hard times, and that we need to be there for these people is the biggest thing that I guess has taught me overall. And honesty 1000%. It don't transparency, being open about the price, being open about what we do, not scamming people, and just being completely to the point, clear communication. I would say that's all the things that we've taken on being Christians, 1000% Catholics growing up. So yeah.
And I feel like there's a big stereotype when it comes to being Christian and making money. What is
Yeah.
your opinion on having a Christian faith, following Jesus, but still striving to be rich and wealthy?
So the way we view it is like this. And I had a conversation recently with a friend about this. It's I said, I'm like, if I'm just trying to focus on getting wealthy, I'm trying to get money, right? What's should I just give everything away? Should I just become homeless, right? Because then I like, isn't that what I'm supposed to do? And my friend, who's becoming a priest, he said the thing is God needs wealthy individuals in the church. He needs people who have that, because the thing is people who, if there aren't Christians who are wealthy and who can show the other wealthy people how to use their money, how to actually, how what wealth really is, there needs to be that position, not only in the church, but there needs to be that what do you call it when you come on, Easton, what do you call it when you're
Example.
example? Yes, you need to be that example to other people also with money. And the way you have to view money is same thing as a means of helping people. Money is not yours too. Like, money is God. Everything is God. So when you have money, when people ask you for help, you need to help those people. And it doesn't mean you need to buy them a house and give them, everything they ask for. It just means, like, if you're in a position where you can help people, you should always help people, especially if they ask for it. Because in the Bible it says if people ask for help, you always need to help them. I don't know the exact phrase because I'm terrible with Bible verses and all that. But it did actually, it's very important that when you're in a position to help people, that's, and you in that position, you should always be helping people. And also, it's just like, I'm not going to tell people what charities to give to or anything like that, but there is like, I believe in tithing. That's just like another thing that I believe in, giving a percentage of money to, the church or whatever, uh, what, their denomination you're into. I know that tithing's a big thing, but it's just understanding that money is not yours. Money is to be given to others. Money is not something that you keep. It's not something that you're you're supposed to necessarily just splurge all on yourself, because that creates greed, and that just overall, money can corrupt you. Understand that everyone in this world's weak and money can easily corrupt you. And I'm not saying I'm rich, but that's just the focus I have, is when I have money, I like to think about the ways that I can help people, help my church, even my own personal church, like renovations, or helping people, fund mission trips, or even like obviously helping people who are in less fortunate situations. But I would say it just comes down to understanding that money is not yours, and it is to be shared with others, is the main thing, to shorten that all up. So
Yep,
yeah.
I love it. I have three more questions for you, Joe.
Sure.
When we strip all the business aspects of yourself and all your personal accomplishments and everything that you've done in your life, what drives Joe to be the person that he is today?
Um, it's very simple. I would say just a creator, like someone who creates things. I like building stuff. If my business failed tomorrow, I would just probably, the next day, I would probably just get absolutely wasted, and then the day after that, then I would then I would absolutely just build a new business. Um, and I would just focus on the next thing. Like, I'm always looking for new opportunities, just in my own personal life and in the business. But I focus on what really does it for me is like aesthetic. It's building something that that feels like it's mine, and like just when it comes to even like music, or when it comes to business, or even like future investments, or like future businesses I want to start. It's just about creating something. As a kid, I literally spent so many hours, like I was addicted to Legos, dude. I would just build so many Legos, and then there was Playmobiles. I would do
Yeah.
Playmobiles. I would go outside. We had the sand. I would build these crazy. Like, I would just spend my entire time building stuff, and that's really all it is for me. Is I just want to build. That's all I want to do, man.
Two more questions for you. if you could have dinner with two people, one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
Jesus, because why not? I mean, come on, like that. You know how fire that conversation would be. Come on, man. I mean, I could probably get like I could ask him any question. He'd probably drop some incredibly fire parable. You know.
What's one question you would ask him?
um, I would. What would I ask him? I would ask him just like, you know, that's a difficult question. I like. There's so many questions. I only had one question. I would probably ask him like, what? Why did? Why did he? Why did he? Why like? Why did he even create us? You know, why? Like, what is the actual reason? Like, I know he loves us. I know his creation goes far beyond the stars. Like, I know that he can't stop. Like, he needs to share his love. But like, why? You know, I would definitely ask him that if I had one question. In terms of like the present day person, man, probably probably Dan Campbell. Yeah,
Okay, why?
probably Dan Campbell. Yeah, coach for the Lions, man.
Okay, why?
Absolutely.
What would you want to talk to him about?
No, I'd just be like, dude, like, you ready for this next season, man? You know, that's what I'd say, man. Honestly, yeah, probably Dan Campbell and Jesus. That's probably the most American thing a person could ever say.
That's a great.
But
That'd be a great conversation. I have
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely.
one more question for you, Joe. Why did you decide to partner with us and offer the discounts?
Um, first off, like I watched for your podcast. I knew that you were like kind of doing your own thing. I appreciate hustlers, you know. I appreciate people who are just trying to go stuff. It's a platform. Any sort of platform I can get on, I'm just gonna take the opportunity. That's just kind of what I'm doing right now. And I think it would be. I was looking at it, right? I was looking at Digi discounts. I'm like, it would be kind of cool to just have a person call and just be like, hey, I found you guys on Digi discounts, you know? Like any other platforms that people can find us on, that's just exciting to me. And I have no problem going out discounts if they, you know, if they find us on other platforms and helping other people out. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I saw it. I'm like, this looks pretty cool. This looks rad.
Yeah.
Let's give it a try. Let's do it.
Well,
So yeah,
perfect. We
absolutely.
appreciate you partnering with us, trusting us with your business. So thank you for that. Those are the questions I have for you, Joe. How can people find you? And what is one thing you want to leave people with?
How can people find us? Honestly, man, Google. Just Google us. We're on tons of different platforms. We're on tons of websites. You can Google us. Digi discounts. You know, you can download the app, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It's an
sir.
app, right? It's an
App,
app.
yes, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. And what I leave people with is very simple. Just treat others how you want to be treated. You know, don't be an asshole. Be nice to people.
Yeah. Don't be an asshole. That's a good one.
Don't be an asshole. Just be nice people and understand that people are you don't know what people are going through, and a lot of people are going through a lot of tough stuff, and you just you don't know what people are capable of. So be careful out there as well.
Yeah. Well, Joe, thank you for coming on. And if you want to stay in the room after I end the podcast, we can chat after. But thank you so much for coming on. I loved hearing your journey. Always love talking with younger entrepreneurs. You're obviously a hustler. You're hungry to succeed. You have values. So I think this was a great conversation. And again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
love being here. Thank you.
Thanks.